Hello, friends. I'm Julie, and we usually meet for a conversation about maybe knitting projects that I'm working on or a downsizing project that the process that we're in to downsize to an apartment from a house. But today, I would like to highlight a free book that I wrote about 5 or 6 years ago. I wrote with the help of an editor, so it's professionally done about our experiences as a family living behind the Iron Curtain during the Cold War era. So for us, that would be that would be the late part of the 1980s. The Cold War era extended from the end of World War II until 1989. The Berlin Wall fell, or 1990, 91. It depends which country you're talking about in the East Bloc, but that Cold War era. And I hope that you enjoyed the opening images that I put on the podcast, scenes from life in Budapest at that time. My husband and I were graduate students at university, and I taught English language classes at the college level at that time, and our 9-year-old son was with us, and he attended school there and spent a chunk of his childhood actually living in Eastern Europe. So if you enjoy biographies with photos, you will enjoy this book. The title is Budapest Journal: Adventures of an American Family Living in Communist Hungary. And you can find the book on WordPress. That is a platform where many people share blogs and photos about daily life. But I wanted to offer this book free for anyone and have it be available worldwide. And so I put the chapters and the photos into WordPress and divided it up into different chapters with chapter headings, and it's set up chronologically for those years that we lived there. So that seems like a good platform, and I can see the stats, and I can see that people from all over the world are dipping into the book. I saw just yesterday China and Singapore, so really far away from us here in the U.S. are searching topics and landing on our particular book for information about communism at that time or daily life at that time. So anyway, the book is free, and I'm really pleased that people are enjoying it. I wrote the different chapters. They're based on my journals and letters from the years that we lived in Budapest, Hungary. I should highlight my scarf. I'll carefully take it off. I met a woman of my age while we were living in Budapest. We met in university, and she's a woman from Leningrad, then St. Petersburg today. She is from Russia, and she gave me different items like this as gifts when she went back to visit her family during those years. We both lived in Budapest, and we studied at the same language school in preparation for being accepted into university. So we learned to know each other, and we're friends to this day. So I spend time in that book describing that relationship. We were famous because at that time, during the Reagan era, Reagan was trying to work out some relationships with Gorbachev. And so here was an American woman and a Russian woman who were best friends, and embodying what global friendship can look like across political borders. So I can also talk about the artwork behind me. This is a poster that was hanging in a shop in Budapest, and we brought it home and framed it. The poster is talking about the Russian holiday, November 7th, November 7-e, in Hungarian, and yes, we speak Hungarian. We learned it over the years. So this poster is sort of advertising, celebrating that holiday. And we saw it in a shop window after the holiday and thought, this is really interesting from our perspective as Americans. And so my husband talked to the shop owner, asked him if he could have it. And I think the guy thought we were crazy, but he did take it down and give it to us, and we brought it home. So it's really something from a bygone era. Former Soviet Union does not exist anymore, as SSSR, which was on my scarf. But this is we're viewing all of this through historical lens and perspective, and that is certainly my view as I wrote this book. I do want to be clear that I'm not an advocate of communism or socialism, at least in the form that it took at that time. As I said, the countries in the East Bloc, and I'll put up a map so that you can refresh your memory on how that worked after World War II. Those countries were dominated by Russia. They were occupied countries, and there were Russian soldiers in Budapest in those years. I think I put a picture in the introduction with some Russian soldiers. So it was not, that did not create a happy atmosphere for Hungarians at that time. And I must say, having lived under that regime, even as an American, as a foreigner, we had to abide by the same rules. We did not have special treatment. And so I can attest that that form of communism was not very pleasant and very restrictive for normal citizens. So I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, I hope that you'll consider at least taking a look at the book if you are interested in that kind of subject matter. So here is an excerpt from chapter 1, the time when we crossed the Iron Curtain for the first time. And I'll just read you a paragraph from that chapter because it really sets up and sets the tone for our adventures in Budapest. And it was almost like something that you would see in a film, but it was real and we experienced it. Crossing through the Iron Curtain. As the train neared the frontier between the two countries of Austria and Hungary, we were traveling west from Western Europe into Eastern Europe. We could feel the mood palpably change. Our fellow passengers became tense and much more quiet, and we soon realized why. The Austrian border patrol left the train at the appointed location, and the Hungarian border guards came crashing onto the train in their place. Gone were the polite guards with sidearms. Instead, we were confronted by men with machine guns and large dogs, rudely rousting passengers, pulling up bench seats, looking for hidden people and smuggled items, and rooting through suitcases, including ours. During the 40-minute border stop, we sat in the airless compartment, surrounded by the combined odors of sweat and raw onions from a passenger's lunch, silently watching the armed guards inspecting the underside of the train with a mirror. And I remember thinking, what have we done? Why did we decide to move to a police state? So what was it like for us? Based on my journals, I write about issues that we had with police as Western foreigners. I write about food shopping and have daily photos of daily life and how Soviet communism affected us and other regular everyday Hungarians, our friends. I write about travels by train within the countries in the Soviet East Bloc, like a memorable trip to East Berlin, where the famous wall was still standing. And what was it like for us to experience the hardest winter in 1987, when the Danube River was frozen solid. And so if you like to read biographies and are intrigued by the Cold War era, click on the WordPress link. I'll put it on the screen here and also in the description below. Maybe you can bookmark my WordPress site and then read it during the shorter days that we have in fall and winter coming up. Oh, and click the like button if you appreciate my content. And we'll see you. Bye and happy reading.